Vladimir Putin has pierced and infiltrated the United States military. It is very obvious to our, and I say this with a lot of sadness, former European allies. Pumps is back. And let's see what the Democrats have been doing since the Trump administration has handed over basically the United States government to Vladimir Putin. Let's put up the slide. All right, here we have, they had a dim playbook. Last month, a group of moderate Democrat consultants, campaign staffers, elected officials, and party leaders gathered in Virginia. And here are their plans for us to counter MAGA. Number one, the party should embrace patriotism, community, and traditional American imagery. And it goes on down here. They want to back off of small dollar donors. And then they think candidates should get out of elite circles and into real communities, tailgates, gun shows, local restaurants and churches. So the Democrats are going to cosplay being rednecks while Donald Trump is basically raping and pillaging the federal government. And I want to remind everybody, we're playing two different games here. They're going in and saying, we won, we barely won, but we're going to call it a mandate, and we are going to F this whole thing up. We're going to cram it down everybody's throats. We don't care. The Democrats are going to run away from their base and go cosplay being rednecks and wave around American flags. And let me just tell you something, as somebody that lives in a red state, this is why Kamala lost. She started talking about her Glock. She started talking, running around with Liz Cheney, and that did not ignite the base. What are your thoughts on this, Pumps?
Well, my first thought is sheer panic if that's the playbook to combat what's going on in the Trump administration with Putin and Project 2025. Here's the thing. You have 20, 25, 30% of people that it doesn't matter what Donald Trump does to them. They're going to be pro-Republican, full stop. The people that are on the fence, they do not become ignited unless they are viscerally touched by something. And I think that something is speaking out, being forceful, condemning Trump's action. This playbook, I did read over the weekend that if Mitch McConnell were in Chuck Schumer's situation, we'd have a whole different ballgame going on.
Exactly right.
And Chuck Schumer has been nothing but milk toast. And we are not, as Democrats, coming out strong enough. And if this is the playbook, we are all screwed.
The playbook is really simple, Democrats. The headlines are writing themselves. Donald Trump is a traitor. That's what you write. Donald Trump has handed over and waved the white flag to a very weak Vladimir Putin. Donald Trump is anti-veteran. He's firing veterans. The difference between Democrats and Republicans is they attack us, they attack our media, and they do it over and over and over again. Where are the attacks? Where is a unified attack from the Democrats? Instead, you're going to go cosplay being rednecks at the gun show. Good thinking. Well, let me tell you what Norway's doing to counter Trumpism. Put it up. Norway's fuel giant refuses to fill U.S. forces after Trump-Zelensky clash. So we have submarines, big naval ships. Norway will not put gas in these tanks. You know why? Because they know that Putin has infiltrated the military. And how do they know that? Let's put up this tweet. Pete Hegseth just reportedly ordered the U.S. military's cyber command to stand down from all planning against Russia. Analysts have ordered not to follow or report on Russian threats. One inside source said, Putin is on the inside now. Europe knows this. Other Republicans know this. And so we have to call on Republicans that have a modicum of wanting to retain democratic norms in the United States of America, and Democrats in general to start eviscerating the anti-American, the anti-democracy actions coming out of the Trump administration. Pumps, what's your take on this?
Well, I think it's obvious that Russia has infiltrated Trump's administration. I don't think there's any question about that. Surprisingly, Europe immediately acted. They can see it. They're on the outside looking in. They see it immediately. They're uniting. They're coming together with a plan. Democrats undoubtedly see it, but so few are speaking out on it. And these Russian enablers, these Republican/Russian enablers, now we know why Trump picked Pete Hegseth to run the Department of Defense, so that he could cave to Putin, and the bozo with the good hair and the booze would just go along with it, that the kneel down would be complete because nobody has any conviction, any morals, or any strength of character to do the right thing.
I think the fix is in.
I do
And
too.
the fix has been in for a long time. And there has been collusion with Russia from Donald Trump, as evidenced by Kevin McCarthy in 2016, with Speaker Paul Ryan, said that they thought that Trump was on the take with Putin. And that was a hot mic moment where then they had to come back and say, oh, no, we were joking. You don't joke about stuff like that. The Mueller report. And let's not forget that Trump was impeached because he tried to bribe Zelensky, and he has put all of these people in because he wants to be an autocrat. The reason we have such a flurry of executive orders is because he's trying to send a message to the American public. I have the power. Congress doesn't. I don't care what you learned in middle school. We don't have 3 equal branches of government. The buck stops with me. And I read an article that Stephen Miller has been shocked that there have been so few lawsuits. They expected more pushback. And so you have Hakeem Jeffries out there saying that he's going to, quote, urge Republicans and Donald Trump to be mature, which is a joke. You have these Democratic moderates saying that they are going to cosplay being rednecks at gun shows, and they want to let go of small dollar donors, which tells me they want to be owned and a part of the oligarchy as well. And so I think we're at a time right now where the Republicans are the Republicans. These people have no morals. And if there's a triple Trumper out there, you can go to all the gun shows you want to. They are never, ever, ever, ever going to vote for Democrats because there has been a decades-long attack on it. Until Democrats start getting mean and saying, yeah, we don't bully gay people. We want equal rights for Black people. And if you think we're pussies because of that and you think we're woke, then so be it. We think you're religious hypocrites. Until they start campaigning like that and browbeating the shit out of Republican ideals and exposing the fact that Elon Musk is an American taxpayer-funded billionaire. The only reason he has the billions of dollars that he has is because of hardworking Americans. And he is completely funded by the United States. He is completely compromised. And this is such a disaster that the Democrats roll out with that attack plan. And it's going to make a lot of people. My husband has already said he's changing his voter registration to independent. And if that's what you guys do, if you run away from your base and you don't fight, we won't have a political party anymore. All right, next up we have a tweet. And this was a comment from a Russian dissident on YouTube. In the war between Russia and Ukraine, the first surrender was America. And she says, ouch. And I think that is true. But please do not stop listening to our show, because you can support us by supporting our doctors. And I have to tell you guys, I have had, remember last week I was hoarse. Now I have all this congestion and I've needed to get in to see a doctor. And we have partnered with ZocDoc, and it is a free app and website where you can search and compare high quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. I was able to go see a doctor on Friday. I'm on antibiotics, all thanks to ZocDoc. It takes my insurance and everything.
What's so great about ZocDoc is you have peer reviews from other people that have seen the doctor that you can look at. They tell you when where your doctor is located and which doctor takes your insurance, regardless of specialty. So it's such a great convenience, and they help you make the appointment.
Listeners, stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/IHIP to find and instantly book top-rated doctors today. That's ZocDoc.com/IHIP. ZocDoc.com/IHIP. All right, Pumps, what do you think about this? I mean, the world sees it that these men that try to act like these armchair tough guys, they've surrendered to Putin.
Right.
And it's very important that everybody remember, and the Democrats' message, Putin is in a very weak position. Their economy is completely in tatters. Their military is completely depleted. They couldn't even beat Ukraine, which is a very tiny country compared to Russia.
I think it's interesting that Russia has not been able to defeat Ukraine. Them as a big military power, that is clearly a narrative that has long passed them. They need the United States, and they have gotten the United States because we're voting with Iran and Belarus for Russia against Ukraine. Ukraine, the difference between the administration in America and the administration in Ukraine, they have conviction. They are patriots to their country, and they're willing to fight for it. Donald Trump is for sale. His entire administration is for sale. He's already saying, oh, yes, please, let's let oligarchs buy in, because he wants America to be an oligarchy. And the absolute compromise of the United States government, and I keep saying it, Tulsi Gabbard all the way around in his intelligence officers, in his intelligence offices, we are in a hair on fire moment when it comes to national security and our place in the world. And NATO has realized it, and good on them, because they are up against an alliance between the United States and Putin for the first time in history, I think.
Well, Elon Musk tweeted yesterday that he wants us to pull out of NATO and the UN. And I just have to say to all of the triple Trumpers, or even if you're 1 out of 3 Trumper or 2 out of 3 Trumper, you're voting away 80 years of veterans that fought and died for this Democratic alliance. So don't run around and act like you're the patriots. And Democrats, where I started off this episode, this is where you attack. We're not going to go run around at gun shows and act like something we're not. We stand for gun reform. We don't think kids should go to school and get shot. Don't back away from that. And there's one senator that is consistently speaking out. And I think if Chuck Schumer cannot step up to the plate here, he needs to step aside. Right. If Hakeem Jeffries cannot step up to the plate here, he needs to step aside. This is a historical moment. And what it's looking like to me is these two are just as beholden to corporations as the Republicans are, which is why they are not attacking the way they should. But somebody is, and he is a Connecticut senator named Chris Murphy, and he is really fighting the good fight right now. And here he is on CNN over the weekend.
Reaction to what you just heard from the president's national security advisor. Do you think there's hope of salvaging this relationship with Ukraine?
So it is absolutely shameful what is happening right now. The White House has become an arm of the Kremlin. Every single day, you hear from the national security advisor, from the president of the United States, from his entire national security team, Kremlin talking points. For the last week, the White House has been pretending as if Ukraine started this war. That's essentially saying that Poland invaded Germany at the beginning of World War II. There are still facts in this world. And the fact is this: Vladimir Putin is a brutal dictator. Russia started this war. And the entire pretext for that meeting yesterday was an attempt to rewrite history in order to sign a deal with Putin that hands Putin Ukraine. That is disastrous for U.S. national security. That means that China will be on the march. Putin may not stop. America may be at war with a nuclear power. And for what? For what? It appears as if America is trying to align itself with dictators, that Donald Trump wants us to have our closest relationships with despots all around the world, because that makes it easier for him to transition America into a kleptocratic oligarchy where Elon Musk and Donald Trump rule and steal from the American people. If we were allied with democracies, that would be harder. But if the United States' closest partner is Russia, then it makes it a lot easier for Donald Trump, Elon, and their billionaire pals to steal from the American people, to steal our data, to steal our Medicare, to steal our Medicaid in order to enrich themselves.
He's exactly right. Elon Musk is a taxpayer-funded billionaire. Donald Trump and Elon Musk are running around saying we can't afford FAA air traffic controllers. We can't afford park rangers. We can't afford cancer research. We can't afford Social Security, even though you paid into it. We can't afford Medicare, Medicaid. But you know what they're doing? They're buying a bunch of crypto.
Right.
Elon Musk is rewarding himself a bunch of government contracts because he's a welfare queen. And the Democrats want to run around at a gun show. Are you kidding me? Attack the shit out of this vociferously. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. We're going to try to hit 1 million sometime soon. We're so glad Pumps is back. We'll see you all later today.